Welcome everyone to another episode of Two Men No Hope. I am still very annoyed by the JCB episode this week.
I totally forgot about it up until now. So
I've been ranting to myself all day.
to yourself or to other people?
To myself, because no one understands, do they?
I was telling people today how proud I was of myself for getting you so riled up.
Oh, what? Because normally I'm doing it to you.
Yeah.
I just hate it
like
so
I found
much.
a button to press.
I literally walked off camera yesterday and messaged Speen and was like, "It was fucking time travel." That's what it said. No context or anything like that. Just my anger. My fucking hair's doing my night, man. I can't wait. I'm putting off getting a haircut until I come down to see you, so it's fresh.
Yeah. I'm in a dilemma at the minute because I've got my cousin's birthday on the first week of December. So if I get my hair cut now, it will work out that for the first week of December for the party, I'll have a fresh cut.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing me, I'm not going to get to the hairdressers this week or to the barbers this week. So I'll end up getting it done the week after, and then I'm going to end up doing what I did before, where I've had to go and pay like £10 for a shape up, and I just hate it.
Is that what that's called? A shape up?
Yeah, essentially, if you just don't get the top touch, you just get the side refaded.
I wanted to do that before I went on holiday to Prague, but the guy I went to, who, if you follow our TikTok, which you should do, he's like a party man. So even though
he's not about.
No, not even that. So even though his hours on the Google say that he's open, you could turn up and he could not be there. And this was we flew on a Thursday, and he wasn't open on the Wednesday. So he must have gone out Tuesday night and just been like. I wonder
if the football or something was on the night before.
Maybe, I don't know. No, I think he rents out his chair, but yeah, I think primarily it's him himself. There's only 2 chairs in there. It's quite a small place.
Ah, right, okay.
But so that was fun. I saw a video like about pandas.
Pandas,
yeah. Yeah. And I was just thinking to myself, like, do you think God ever sits up in heaven? He's watching down on earth, and he thinks, why aren't they extinct yet? He's done everything possible to kill off pandas, yet we spend every waking moment and money to try and keep them alive.
Yeah, well, we're trying to make up for the dodo. That's what it is.
But it just doesn't make sense. Like God's like, he's gone, oh, I've got brown bears, black bears, polar bears. He's like, I'm on a fucking roll right now. I need to make a South Asian bear. And he makes this fucking panda, and he's like, fuck, I fucked this up now. This one's shit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so the female only breeds once a year. The males don't know how to fucking fuck anything, and then they're all going to be happy to commit suicide. And I'm just going to let them kill themselves off. It'll be all right in a couple of years, and then we intervene, stick him in fucking enclosures, and we're like, no, you're not dying.
And and we figured out how to do IVF with other. Fucking creatures, so we can make them pregnant without them actually having sex.
So every day God gets up and looks down, and he's just like, fuck you. He's like, just let it go. Like, I've made it so if the panda dies and it goes extinct, it affects nothing. Just let him die, please. It was my mistake. Stop reminding me of my mistake. Let it go.
That's one thing I learned from fucking, do you know Clarkson's Farm?
Yeah.
Most of them motherfuckers are just getting pregnant through injection. They're not even getting pregnant for.
Oh yeah.
From the good old-fashioned way.
Bringing a bull in is like the last resort.
Mm.
No one wants to do that. Those poor bulls, man. Their balls must be. No wonder fucking sheep are banging each other, like the males.
Oh yeah. Of course they are.
You know what I mean? Because we're not allowing them. But yeah, no, I was just like, because this video that I saw on TikTok was basically how pandas in it's like China or Japan or whatever are on like 24-hour suicide watch, because they'll go up like a tree like 2 stories high and they'll just jump off.
What's that? Because they're enclosures?
No, because they're fucking stupid. Like God has impacted just their being with the fact that suicide is good. So you watch them; they'll go up into a tree, must be like 2-3 stories high, and you'll see them smiling, and they'll jump off. And then you see these like Chinese people going like, "Oh no 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 no!" like chasing it, trying to stop it, and it's like, "No, I'm doing it today. Today's the day I'm going to knock it off." And they're like, "No no no no
What
no!"
the
And he's
fuck
like,
was
"Yep."
you? Was this actually a documentary?
No, it's just clips of pandas being cute, but they're trying to kill themselves. Like that, everyone's like, "Oh, they're so cute," and I'm like, "Do you not see the design that's going on here? Like God's given them the out, and we're like, nah, you're not having it. It's almost like if I got hit by a car, lost my arms and legs, and I was only like conscious for like 5 minutes a day, and for that 5 minutes, I tried to top myself, and the nurse kept coming in and saving me.
Yeah.
That's essentially what a panda is. You know what I mean? And the fact that they're meat eaters, they're carnivores, but they only eat fucking bamboo as well.
The analogy is insane. Like to think that people putting up cute panda videos, and Dan, you're just sitting there fucking angry, like God wants you to die.
But no one's looking at it that way because, you know, as human beings, for some reason, we want to save everything, and it's like they've got no predators. They don't kill anything. If they disappeared tomorrow, the only people that would care would be us. And because we like to look at them, they're trying to throw themselves off fucking trees and hills and mountains, and we're like, nah, we're gonna save you, mate. And they're like, just let me go. I'm happy.
Like slipping, like Jack in fucking Titanic, slipping
Yeah,
off
yeah,
into
yeah.
the water.
You see this panda in a tree with a smile on his face, about to jump off a 4-story tree. You're not gonna go. He doesn't want to die. You're like, he's ready. He's accepted his fate. He's got a smile up to his fucking ears. He's done. He's ready. He's done.
Oh my days!
You know what I mean, could you imagine waking up tomorrow and having, well, you still have your nuts and what, but not knowing what to do with it? It's just dangling there. What kind of
What
life
if I
is
woke
that?
up like and I was chemically castrated or something?
No, like everything worked, but you had no idea what to do with it. Like, what's the, it's just torture in it. You're getting a boner. It's like being a child again.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? And you're like, I don't know
As a
what to do
kid,
with
when
it.
you figured out the second function for your penis, you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, you just rubbing
You
against
just would
everything.
go and lock yourself in the bathroom for ages and be fucking investigating.
Nothing. When you're a child, nothing is safe. Like teddies, corners of doors, walls, bed covers, sofas, everything's getting humped or rubbed against.
Is that what yeah.
But you make me laugh as though, because like, so you got these pandas that are like, they're getting a boner and they're like, I've no idea what that is. Like, there you go, just carry on with my day. But then on the other hand, you've got these females that are just going to be angry for the entire year for that, except for that one day. And if they miss that one day of getting sex, they've now got another entire year of being pissed off at you. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, well, that's why we're one of the only fucking, other than dolphins, we're the only ones that get enjoyment out of sex. If that was my life, that would be it, Dan. I wouldn't be hanging
Just
about.
missed it by one day.
I'd see that 4-story tree, yeah. I'd be hanging off the top of it myself.
But no, you can't have that, Jamie, because there'd be a nurse or a small Chinese woman saving your life.
Oh, I'll figure out a way, Dan.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You see how my conclusion is sound now? Like I'll find that video and I'll send it to you.
I don't know if I can get on board with suicidal pandas, but
I'll find that clip of all the pandas jumping off things, and you look at that and don't say to myself, they're trying to knock themselves off.
Oh my god, that was the most random start to an episode I've ever fucking encountered.
But that's what it is. Sometimes I think to myself we should just leave it alone. Because obviously I like a good zoo. I know everyone else, you know. Yes, I can go on the board that they're a bit, you know, animals should be in the wild, but we can't be trusted. You know, if you put them in the wild, we get kill them and we put them on a wall. But pandas are just the amount of money and resources we use for an animal that doesn't want to be here.
I think it is good that people keep the animals like the pandas away from the fucking poachers, because there would be geezers walking around full panda suits, Dan. They'd be wearing pandas as like a fucking, do you know them, what they call ghillie suits?
Ghillie suits, yeah.
There'll be geezers walking around wearing pandas as ghillie suits if it was people left to their own devices. Well, the panda would be like the dodo anyway. I think that's why people do so much to look after animals now, is because like we fucked the dodo over, we fucked a lot of animals over.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. Like, at what point do you look at a species of animal that is just like incapable of like surviving, and go, "We're going to do this for you"? Just let him be.
I don't know.
Obviously, there's a
I've got
plan.
Jack Russell down. I don't know if he'd be surviving in the wild by himself.
Well, it'd just be eating small mice, wouldn't he?
I don't even know if he'd last 6 hours in the fucking outside by himself.
But this is what I was just getting at with like, because I'm not a massive believer in God, but I was thinking to myself like, so he created everything, and he's like, right, these are just random numbers, and he's like, right, I'm gonna take a gamble on this animal. It's a bit aggressive, but I'm just gonna make like 1,000 of them. Brown bear comes out, and he's like, oh, this is a pretty badass fucking. This is good. You know what? I'm gonna double down on this. I'm gonna make double of the black bear. And he's like, oh, two. That's a double win. So now I'm going to go stick him in the polar. I'm going to make a polar bear in the cold, see how it does. I'm going to make a bit more. I might, double that again. And he's like, I'm on all high here. I've got 3 wins. They're fucking vicious. They can look after themselves. They can survive in the fucking cold and in the heat.
Mm.
But Asia's missing something. So I'm gonna go for a 4 here. I'm gonna win this. And then he's like, I'm gonna make 10,000 of these motherfuckers because I know they're gonna be good. And then they're just like pillow biters, and he's like, "Fuck, what have I done?"
Where does the koala bear fit in this analogy?
That's not a bear. Just because it says we're going down like Jaffa Cake region now. Just because it's, you know what I mean?
So you're telling me the koala bear is the Jaffa Cake of the bear world?
Yeah, they're like, is it a bear? I mean, is it really? I mean, it just sticks to trees and it just hangs out there for a bit. I mean, at least they're not trying to kill themselves.
There's also the red panda.
Fucking love a red panda. Those things
So
are
you like the
fucking
red
amazing.
panda, but you don't like the generic
Because they're
giant
not
panda.
retarded. They're not trying to kill themselves. Like they're quite happy within their own ecosystem. I'll tell you right now. I'll send you that video, and if you don't look at that and say that panda's trying to fucking kill itself, I'd be very shocked.
I think as this podcast goes on, people get more and more idea of your psyche and what goes through your mind when you're at work.
Well, I've got to pass the time somehow. No, I've listened to some comedians, and they say that like comedians look at the world a different way.
Mm.
That's how I look at it.
Is that
I'm
what
not
you're
like, I love a panda. Don't get me wrong. The Kung Fu panda. Pandas are fucking. I'm not disagreeing that they're cute. Like they're more than are cute, but that's not a reason to keep something alive that doesn't want to be alive. I might look cute without no arms or legs, but if I can't grab onto myself, then I want out of this world. You know what I mean? You just got to draw a line somewhere, Jamie. That's where it is.
Oh man.
There's a reason why they're in fucking East Asia in the fucking trees, because they just want to be left there alone. But no, we have to go in there and bring them out.
I don't think there's many left in the wild.
I wonder why that is. There ain't gonna be many left in captivity. God's sitting there waiting. He's just waiting it out. Can you imagine if you died and went up there and he was like, "Did you go see a panda in the zoo?" And you're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Fuck off." That's his like biggest mistake.
That's his line that he draws, and he sends you down to hell.
Yeah, that's it. You're done.
Panda. I don't think I've seen a panda in real life, to be fair.
There's one or two at Edinburgh Zoo. You have to book to see it. You can't just go up and look into a thing.
Why?
I can't remember. Something to do with they're retarded or something.
Or
No, it's something to do about them.
For me to book seeing it, I want to be like in there, cradling me in his arms like his child or something.
Yeah. For you to be able to go up to this thing as well and it not to eat you, just is another fail. Like, this is God's ultimate fail. He's created something that is completely fucking useless. It's not going to kill anyone. It's just, he just wants it out of this world.
Are they vicious?
No, but they could be. They're carnivores. They are supposed to eat meat, but they just eat bamboo.
I'm going to Google, are pandas dangerous? While
Do you know what
pandas
makes
are regarded as kind, cuddly, and cute animals, they certainly have a dangerous side when they feel threatened. They are solitary creatures and avoid confrontation, but if cornered, they have sharp claws and teeth and may attack, especially if their cubs are involved.
cubs? They don't even know what a cub is. It's
No,
ridiculous.
they are cute looking, to be fair.
But that's not a reason to keep them alive, Jamie. I'm going to start protesting the protest for letting pandas be themselves. Just let them go.
Thing is, if we put this as a clip up out of context, people be thinking, like, say if we edit it badly, people be thinking that you're like all about killing the pandas, and you'll get like Peter. Is it Peter?
Yeah,
On your
Peter.
ass,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, I'm just gonna get like flower bombed by about 100 fucking activists.
bring them on. Bring them on. If you can't stick a panda in the fucking wild and let it be itself, then there's no reason for them. I know, obviously, when animals get captive and they become less wild, and that you can't release them back into thing, but that doesn't mean you can get into the fucking zoo with them and they ain't gonna fucking kill you. You know what I mean?
No, you're not allowed to unless
But a
you're
panda
trained.
is nothing. It's feeling threatened. They don't know what threatened is. You see these little Chinese people fucking chasing them. That's threatening.
I'm gonna Google panda attacks now.
Oh my god, panda attacks. I tell you right now, God is sitting there salty as fuck, and he's like, Dan's figured it out, and I hope Dan finds a way for them to be wiped off the face. It's like, it's almost, put it in context, right? You know, if you say you're cooking food and then you burn the countertop, you can't get that burn off, and every time you come home into your kitchen, you see that burn, and it reminds you of that mistake. That's what a panda is.
Shit, there's only like 1,800 left in the wild.
And he's just waiting it out, Jamie. I tell you right now, when the last panda's gone, I bet you there's a rainbow.
We won't be there for that day. You won't be because Peter would have killed you, mate. They'll be all over you. As soon as this comes out, cancelled by the panda people. 3 cases this year in Beijing Zoo attacks.
I tell you right now, when people have stopped moaning at me for this conversation and calling me horrible, and and they really sit back and think about it, it'd be a justice to let them just do it, just to let them die out.
What I'm going to say to the people when they interview me, when Peter have come after you and I'm on the news, I'm going to say the time travel JCB sent Dan over the edge.
I'm just seeing sense for the first time, Jamie. Sometimes when people say it's better in your memory than it is in real life, that's the way the panda should be. It's better to remember the panda as this cute animal than this.
Like the Tasmanian
suicidal
dog, or whatever it was. There was that Tasmanian dog, wasn't it? That it got extinct in like 1925 or something.
Is there? Did the world end when that disappeared? No.
Well, I would rather see that than a panda, to be fair.
Yeah, or a honey badger. Those things are fucking quality.
Yeah, but they're aggressive as fuck, man.
Yeah, but I don't want to go in and pet it. I just want to see it. Be way more entertaining trying to see that thing escape than it is to see a panda. I was going to say play with himself, but he doesn't even do that, does he?
African guy trying.
I have, yeah.
Keep that fucking...
to try and keep the honey.
He was like, every morning I come back out and he's escaped. He's down the road. I'm like, fucking fuck me, mate. I don't know what accent that was, by the way, listeners. That was like an Irish / fucking Northern Irish accent for a South African guy. I had during my emergency poo just before the just before the recording, I was reading an article, and this guy is my. Do you know how we all say that the panda is your spirit animal, Dan?
No, the panda is not my spirit animal.
This guy is my spirit animal, and let me just read out the fucking headline for the fucking thing. It bloody cracked me up, man. So this is the headline, for the article. This man stole a car, and upon realizing there was a baby inside, He returned the baby, scolded the parents for leaving the baby in the car by himself, and then proceeded to steal the car again.
Hey man, everyone's got morals, you know what I mean?
That's my level of petty crime, man. Like, the geezer's just like, I'm still taking your car, but fucking look after your child.
I could feel if it was you, you wouldn't be bothered about the baby. It'd be more if there was like a dog in the back, you'd go
Oh,
back.
mate, if there was a baby in the back of a car and when I nicked it, say if 18-year-old Jamie, being a little bastard that he was, I would do the old-fashioned thing of like dropping it off at a fire station.
I knew you were going to say that. But if there was a dog, that'd be it. You'd be
There's
hunting
a dog,
down.
he's coming home with me.
You'd be like, "This is why I stole your car because you're irresponsible," and then drive away.
And when they keep trying to follow me with the chip, I'll just be on the road all the time.
Just wrap the dog in not cling film, tinfoil. Stop the chip.
Make a little foil hat for myself as well with all my conspiracies.
Another thing I was thinking is that I've been in a very thinky mood. So have you been watching, or have you watched that show Invincible on Amazon Prime?
No.
Fucking quality for anyone. It's a bit like The Boys, a little bit.
It's animation, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a comic. So it's like violent, but it's basically about a guy that gets his powers. But it's and all the characters essentially, there's like a Batman in it and like a Flash in it, and his dad is basically like Superman, like he's invincible. And can I really speak? Is it a spoiler?
Just say spoilers ahead.
Is it? Well, I suppose it is a spoiler. Yeah, so it's a spoiler. So his dad is like from another planet, obviously, like Superman.
Like
and
a
he's
Kryptonian.
like, yeah, Voltrum, I think he's called. And they're from a planet that basically takes over other planets, and he was sent to Earth to weaken it for Voltrum to come and take it over.
Right.
And he has a family and his son Invincible. He's been there for like 17 years. And then all of a sudden, when his son gets his powers, he's like, oh, it's time to take over the planet. And then in normal fashion, Invincible doesn't want to do it because he's part human.
Yeah.
But they don't age the same. So his dad's obviously making this argument. And this was I was thinking about, and which I want to say to you about. So his dad's saying to him, like, as we get older, our molecules slow down. So you get you become of age quicker, and then when you become of age, you slow down. So he was like, everyone you know and everyone on this planet is gonna be dead. So he's like, help me take over the planet, and he's gonna like, and if you agree, we get better medical supplies. We don't have to worry about hunger because we're controlled by another race of people. And he's like, no. And I'm like, why the fuck not? Who gives a fuck? Make sure your mum lives out a fucking life happy as fucking anything. But who gives a shit? If I was the son of Superman, there's no fucking way I'll be helping people out.
What would you do?
I'd take over the fucking planet.
You take over the planet?
Yeah, of course I would. Anyone within their right mind. Like, it'd be like
Who's
God
the first
coming.
to go, Dan? The pandas.
The pandas, yeah. Just to show that I'm being serious. The pandas are going, you like cute and fluffy? Well, let them die. But come on, I mean, your dad is from another planet. He's can train you up. He knows these things. He's taken over hundreds of planets already, and he's saying to you, like, what's the point? Like, their lives are insignificant.
What I would do, because obviously this kid's been brought up to the age of 17 or whatever, I would live my life to what it would be with until the people I know around me are old. Then as soon as they hit, like, the last person that I'm close with hits like 90 years old, I just go nuclear. And fucking burn everything to the ground.
But then, essentially, it's the same thing. You only want to save the people you know, and people on the listening, they'll be like, "Oh, how could you? People's lives are sacred." You're a fucking god. Who gives a fuck?
Or we'll just move on. If you really don't want to do it, move on to the next planet.
If I could take over the planet and I could provide things that we can't get here because I'm from an alien race, and all it took was enslaving the human race for the better of their own good, of course I'd fucking do it.
I feel as though we're going to have to watch out for you, Dan. I feel as though there's some true colours coming out today.
I just think to myself, we've got to a point now where, like, obviously not being selfish, but it's like people don't see sense.
What do you mean?
Everyone's assumed that they've got to help everyone else. Like what's going on with like the government and stuff for us, where it's like everyone wanted to leave to do Brexit, which I didn't vote for Brexit, but everyone wanted to do it because we didn't want to be giving other countries money. But every fucking time anything happens, we give them money. How much are we in debt right now? But we'll just give everyone money. If you wanted to start a small business, you could come over and buy anything from the UK, and we'll probably just take the money that we've taken from you and give it to someone else. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, well, our country's broken.
Yeah.
In regards to
but that's what I'm
fucking
saying. Like,
welfare.
if an alien race came down right now and was like, let us take over, we'll give you, like, you won't have to worry about sickness. You'll be healthy until the day you die. You won't have to starve. Blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't go, oh, hang on a minute. I want these guys to still be in charge of me. Fuck you. I'd be like, I'd be on my knees, mate. I'd be like, shackle me up.
No, I'd be fighting to the death.
Nah.
I'd be fighting to the fucking death.
No.
Ain't no one taking over me.
I don't. I mean, I don't see the benefit of living the way we're living now if someone can do it better.
Yeah, but it means that you'd have to become like their little, like, farmers or something. Fuck
Well,
that.
what are you now?
I'm living my own life, innit? If they
No,
tell
you're
me I
not.
have to do like
No, you're not.
like
You're paying
10
all your
hours.
money. All your money goes to the fucking government. You got to pay your house. You got to pay for a privilege of having a roof over your head, a privilege for electricity, for gas. You have to pay taxes and a privilege to eat food. You have to pay a privilege to use the road to put your car on. You have to go to work for what, almost 50% of your time. You come home, you're too fucking knackered. You can't afford to go anywhere. You go on
Yeah, but
holiday,
if
you
you're
got to pay a
enslaved by an
privilege.
alien race, you'd be doing that 100% of your time.
We're doing it anyway. And then I won't be starving or any health problems. Hell yes, I would do it in a second.
Nah.
We are the least free country that you could imagine.
Yeah, but I feel as though like for this, for instance, doing this together, you wouldn't be able to do it because I would get a whip around the back of my head, yeah, and they'd be like, "Go and fucking pull that shit out of the ground," and I'll be getting like humbled along like a little. Do you know when I would actually grow a hunchback and become one of them like little fucking weird people, and I'm like pulling like logs out of the ground and shit because that's what they force you to do for the whole time. At least I get home from work and I'm not doing work forever. Do you know what I mean? But they'll work you to death.
What I'm proposing right now is essentially what the Bible says is when the four horsemen come down.
Have you been reading the Bible recently?
No, I know very well that for some reason I absorb religious text. I don't know why, but essentially what it says in when the four horsemen come along, right, is that we get something like, I can't remember how many years it is, 4 or 5 years of absolute peace, right, where nothing goes wrong. And then Jesus is going to come down on a fucking horse. And if you bow down to Jesus and accept him, then you go up to heaven scot-free. But if you want to be yourself, then you've got to deal with the consequences. And that's essentially what an alien race would come down and say. If you bow down, you're going to be free. No, well, not free, but you're going to be, you're taken care of. And if you don't want to do that, then I'm going to punish you for it.
Yeah, I have to get punished.
You're crazy, man.
There's so many films, so many things that like you don't trust anyone, any race, telling you they're coming to do well. V, ever watched the series V? Ever watched Stargate with the Tok'ra and the fucking what are they called? The little fucking lizard things that were living in people's stomachs and shit.
At this point, no one can do worse than what we're doing to ourselves.
I'm doing all right.
It's just I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm guessing you see the world differently to me.
Yeah, if I think if I was in a situation where we're like I'm in a third world country and I'm like living to the point where I'm starving for like 4 days of the week, then maybe yeah, I'd accept the help. But as it goes, I'm pretty thing. Like I'm tired from working, but if I had an alien race in charge of me, as I said, I'd be getting hobbled into the fucking thing to carry on working when I'm tired.
I wouldn't be. I'd be gobbling those green testicles, mate. I'd be living life.
You'd be like one of them leaders of the sections, isn't it? Like in
Yeah,
charge of all the other
I'd
humans,
I'd,
sacrificing humans.
yeah, one of the human race that helps enslave the human race. That'd be me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
You'll
I
be.
see
Well,
it
I can't
coming.
remember what they're called. It begins with C.
Scabs. I would be the same in like a strike. I'd be like, you guys can all fucking strike, but I'll quite happily go back to work because I'll get paid more because you're not at work, so I'll benefit better. I don't give a fuck. I understand how life is. You know what I mean? I don't live in the fucking in all sunshines and rainbows. I understand that you get fucked. But yeah, so some deep thinking from me today.
Basically, Jan's a genocidal, panda killing conspirator with aliens.
You just got to fucking like obviously because my brain's always going.
Mm.
When I watch things or like see things, I just look at every sort of like as many possibilities as I can. And then watching Invincible, I was like, this guy makes a lot of fucking sense. Like if you watch it, the dad makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, but if it was me, I'd live out my life with the people I know, and then once there's people I don't give a shit about anymore, because that would be my perfect vampire situation. That I get to an age like 21, 22, so, and then I stop aging, and then everyone that's around me that I love, I will still have in my life until they die, and then I'll just go on a fucking murderous rampage for the rest of eternity.
The thing that gets me with life, right, is that it's so one dimensional. I can't go out and murder people because I get punished for it. I can't go out stealing because I get punished for it. And if someone come along and there was a way for you to be like Superman, who's going to punish me? No
Well, no
one.
one. If you are
Exactly.
Superman,
So I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
so
The only reason I'm
you're
not
basically
doing
every
everything,
DC thing when Superman goes bad. You're all of them
yeah,
scenarios.
yeah. The only reason there's a guy next to me in my house next door, as in he's a neighbor and not a fucking serial killer, is because he'll get punished for it, and that's the only thing that separates us from that
Is law.
is law. Yeah. And if I was had a superpowers, that's why that's why people love computer games, right? I said before, if you play a computer game where there's choices and you pick the good choices, you're a fucking moron. Everyone
Well,
plays the
I
game to be
do
bad.
wonder why they put good choices in it.
Yeah. Why would you do that? The point of the computer game is to lose yourself and not be yourself. I always pick bad sides. Always do the bad thing. I'm always a dick. There's no consequences. You
Well, I
just
don't think
restart.
there mustn't be many people that go with the good side on a
It's
video game.
it's it's purely there for the same reason that when you play a game, you can pick your gender and that. It doesn't change anything. It just gives you that feeling that you've made the order in choice.
Yeah, yeah. That
Everyone
you've
plays
met the
bad.
storyline.
Everyone plays bad. Everyone. You telling me if it's that someone's like standing in the shop and they just punched some random person in the face, they wouldn't feel good about it if they didn't get punished for it.
Don't know. This was going to be before Pandagate and and the rest of it. I had a story coming into this podcast, and it was and it was I would have punched someone at the end of that, and when I was standing in the shop, if I
Yeah,
was allowed to.
exactly.
Because I was standing there, and this geezer. I'm in a petrol station. This geezer's like telling the cashier his what is it called, license plate, because he's obviously got one of them cards that you pay your fuel
Oh,
for
yeah, a
work.
fuel card.
Yeah. So he's telling her, and because this geezer's like obviously like from Poland or Romania or something, he's got an accent. He's saying Z instead of Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the girl behind the till is a complete and utter moron. Like I've been in this shop many a times, and she's complete and utter idiot. Yeah. Um, and I'm standing there. I'm in a rush because I need the toilet as always, and I'm behind this geezer, and he's going VZN, VZN, VZN at the end, and she's going C for Calippo, C for Cinderella, and he's like no, and she wasn't getting. Like, if I said C, VC, and you said to me Calippo, Cinderella, and I said no twice, you think, oh, he's saying Z. He's got an accent. He's saying Z.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought, and so did every other cunt in the shop. Yeah, and I'm standing there just looking at them both as they're just going back and forth, looking more and more gormless as I need the toilet, and I'm just looking, and I just goes Z for zebra, like proper loudly. And then everyone just looks at me, and I was just like, standing there, like, and he just goes, "Thank you." Yeah, he goes out, and then she tries talking to me, and then my phone, my Google Pay on my phone, wouldn't work because I forgot I put a bank card in my phone case.
Oh, yeah.
So she was talking to me, and I'm going like this, and it's saying there's two phones present. I'm like, how is there two phones present? What does it mean? There's two fucking cards present? Because I forgot. Because obviously she got me in such a fluster. And she was like, "What's your pump number?" Then I'm looking out. Then I'm getting confused, and I was just like, "Bruv, I need to get out of this shop." I was going to knock her out. I was going to knock him out. I was going to knock out everyone in the shop.
And you would have felt so much better if there was no consequences, Jay.
Damn.
There's the thing.
I would
Do
have
you
choked a
know,
panda out if there was a panda in that shop.
mate? That panda wouldn't be doing nothing except rolling around like an idiot. Do you know your what do they call that alphabet that the army uses?
Oh, like the Alfa Romeo.
Alpha Romeo,
Mm.
Alpha Bravo,
Mm.
Charlie Delta, and that's as far as I can know. Echo. So yeah, because I
Hector in it. Next one.
fuck
Sure,
knows.
it's Hector.
Sabina knows it, and I was trying to book in my car, and I'm doing the same. I'm like saying my thing, and she's like getting it wrong, and it makes you feel like a fucking idiot because you don't get taught that. So I'm like, what do you when you say S, what do you always associate S with?
I would say snake.
Snake.
Yeah.
You say sugar.
No, never. No, because I would never say sugar.
Why would you say snake?
Because S for snake. Snake's a well-known thing.
Yeah, but sugar.
I would never have thought of sugar in my life.
Obviously, I get the Z. It's zebra. I always say Z for zebra. Yeah. And then
My old thing used to be like FM11. So I used to say Foxtrot Mike, and then Echo Charlie Delta was the end of it.
I just say it. I just say the letters, and if they can't understand, I just make up something on the spot.
Yeah, but then you end up because when you said what do you think of S, I was going to say sex, and then I'd end up getting hung up on.
No, I always do. I don't know. Maybe that's just an English thing. S for sugar. Not saying you're not English, but you're very common.
Oh, I had a conversation today. Bubble and squeak.
Oh, I fucking love Bubble and Squeak.
I knew you fucking would like it. I knew you would.
It's fucking amazing
I
shit.
knew you would. Can you explain for the American audience what bubble and squeak is?
It's basically mashed potato with cabbage. Is it cabbage?
It's like refried parts of your roast. That's what I was told today.
No, it's not.
Segments of your roast dinner refried. Leftovers refried.
Cabbage. It is cabbage. No, it's just all like a basic one is just mashed potato and cabbage.
Basically,
and you fry
As I
it, yeah,
said,
to
all
make
of
it
that type
crispy
of
on the
food is
outside.
war food.
Well,
People are
Jamie
making
apparently lived
more
a very
rations out of the
privileged.
already rations they were given. That's what fucking what is it called again?
Bubble and Squeak.
Bubble and Squeak. It's basically when they make more rations out of the fucking rations they were given in the first place.
Jamie just apparently had too much money when he was younger, so his family just threw everything away.
No, we were Irish. We fucking ate
Irish
our
are the
food.
worst people for rationing food. A fucking potato famine.
Oh, that was like 400 years ago, Dan.
Yeah, but how do you think? So was the war wasn't that long ago.
we ate our food, innit? Like there was never any bubbles and squeak the next day. That's like the most English thing ever. I couldn't believe.
Yeah, but it's the
Do you know
same
what I
with
thought it was? I thought it was spotted dick. I thought it was the same thing.
spotted dick's war food. It's like suet, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's like a dessert, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought bubbly squeak was the same thing as thing. I thought it was two names for the same thing.
but then you've got bread pudding, one of the most famous desserts. Everyone eats it. Well, I don't really eat it, but bread pudding was made because of rationing, and
It's
you
awful.
didn't want to throw away the bread, so you used old bread and soaked it to make it soft again. It's bread pudding.
Isn't sold in any high-end restaurants. This is the
is.
point I was making.
Yes, it is. If you go to France and they make bread pudding from like French toast and stuff like that, you can definitely get high end bread pudding.
I was making a point today that all British food is not found anywhere in decent restaurants anywhere.
British food isn't found anywhere because it's bland and tasteless, but I
There
was
we go.
poor.
There we go.
I was poor and I enjoyed shit like that because that's what I was brought up on. I fucking love bubble and squeak because it's crispy on the outside and then the potatoes like soft in the middle.
It might be worth me trying it, but I was just like, I thought it was fucking. I was like, why are they going on about spotted dick so much?
It's
And then
basically
they started
like
laughing at me.
it's basically like a hash brown with like cabbage in it.
Dunno. I think what, as I've mentioned before in the podcast, my mum ruined all kinds of like roast dinner and stuff for me. So whenever any of this type of food is brought up in my life, I'm just like, no, I can't deal with it. Can't deal with it. I ate mash for the first time in about six, probably 8 months the other day, and I said to Charlotte, "It's nice, it's okay, but
Mashed potato.
yeah, I
Are
don't
you
like
gonna say
mash.
mashed potato is war food?
It is wolfie, of course it is.
How is
Oliver
mashed
Twist asked
potato
for
war
more,
food?
mate. It's the fucking
No,
it's the
he asked
worst.
for gruel. He wasn't getting fucking plates of mashed potato.
Yes, he was.
He wasn't It wasn't fucking Bodger and Badger. You know what I mean? Jesus fuck.
And Charlotte was like, "Yeah, look, it will be quite nice. Have some." And yeah, it was nice. It was quite peppery. It wasn't lumpy like what my
I
fucking
fucking
parents
love
used to make.
lumpy mashed potato.
See, that's what puts me off. My
Nah.
dad used to do it all the time, and it used to be lumpy as fuck and tasteless.
Yeah, because you got to put like butter and milk and stuff in it. You can't just
Yeah.
mash up some potatoes. Yeah, that would be. My mum makes well good fucking bubble and squeak. I'll see if she can show me how to do it, and I'll make it when we come down. Because I don't think Sabina's tried it either.
What, make it when you come down here?
Yeah,
Maybe.
and get you, and I can show the listeners. I can get you to try it.
Oh mate,
I fucking love it. Yeah, I don't really like English food, but it's what I was brought up on. I'm quite content with it. It's not but I mean, if you took me to a restaurant, I wouldn't order it.
see,
You know what I mean?
the guys I work with, they swear by it. They're like, "I can't believe you think all this stuff's war food and all this stuff." I'm like, mate, honestly, I could eat a lot more flavoursome food. Why would I be eating this bland shit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, see, I would add bubble and squeak because mashed potato is quite boring, so it like adds a little bit sort of more flavour and stuff to it.
So
And it
you'd
makes
have
like,
that as a side instead of mashed potato.
yeah, you wouldn't have mashed potato and bubble and squeak. That's a like I said, it's like, think of it as like hash browns.
So it's not actually a dish then.
No.
It's like a side.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be causing arguments on Friday.
Just think that we lived in the same town. Not even that
Mate,
far
I
away
grew up
from
on
each other.
chicken nuggets and fucking smiley faces.
See, me and my mum obviously it was just me and her. So I grew up on like corned beef hash,
What she was
shepherd's
eating.
pie,
Mm.
bubble and squeak, all that sort of, because it was like cheap to make, and I fucking tasty as shit. When I was younger, it'd be like bubble and squeak, cover it in fucking mash potato, cover it in ketchup. Oh, so fucking good, so good. And then as I get older, you know what I mean. But anyway, we're fucking talking for almost an hour. Please remember that all the opinions in the show are those of the host and should only be taken as food for thought. We're in no way telling you to do anything. Everything is kept anonymous for the safety of the listeners and no information is shared to anyone else. If you are easily offended by people's opinions and views, then thank you for making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you to see you later. Please enjoy the rest of the show. And please subscribe. If you want to help out the podcast, leave them stars, subscribe to our Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to your podcast stuff. And you'll always get notification when we do new stuff, because we are always doing new stuff. More new stuff than I've got time of day, Jamie.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, right. On the plus side, our YouTube's doing a bit more now, so we're doing something right somewhere.
Slowly but surely, we're getting there, mate.
Yeah, I think it's my my stylish thumbnails that are completely take me 2 seconds to make.
I think the thumbnails and the daily releases come hand in hand, and I think some of our topics have been quite triggering for some certain commenters, so that's helped out as well.
Yeah, let them argue amongst themselves. Jamie's review of The Entity had me in absolute stitches and has made me watch it today on my day off. And yes, the music is distracting, absolute comedy gold. The new content is a hit with me, guys. Thanks to the feedback, we appreciate that's the whole sort of thing. Like, even though me and Jamie are watching different movies, like, it's to encourage you as well to watch them as well. So we're glad you're actually going for it. He didn't say whether he enjoyed The Entity or not. I personally could have powered through the music and I could still get the job done, but
Or wanking wise,
or ploughing, either way.
I I thought it was a good film, but I just like the music took away from the film. It took away from the film.
I think when it came out, the music would have been more on par with everything else. But yeah,
Yeah,
nowadays it's a bit
corny.
But yeah. But yeah, I'm looking for. It makes me laugh because while I'm standing at work, I've just got like I could give you enough films for like the rest of next year. Happy birthday to you, Jamie. I saw you kept it quiet, so I'm glad Dan outed you. And yeah, yes, I did. I always do. Well, I say I always do. Sabina reminded me that it was your birthday.
Well,
Otherwise, I would never have done it. I've been dealing with a very difficult neighbour this past few months and have decided to move, partly because of them and partly because I wanted to upgrade of my place. I've decided to leave them a present. I left them a bucket of dog turds behind their shed. So come to a warm day, it will really start to stink. It might make me a bad person, but I don't care. They made my life hard for months. Do you think I'm a petty person?
I think you're a petty person, but I think you're the good pet, the good part of petty. That is a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of thought gone into it, and it's a harmless prank at the end of the day because they're going to have to find it eventually and pull it out.
I would have
It's not.
got
It's not
bored
like you've
and
poured it over him or something.
I would have
So,
got impatient of the dog turds and just filled it up myself.
oh god, oh my god. Post Prague, Dan's stomach just fucking ruining.
Oh no! Oh yeah, I would full on like have like a cheese stuffed pizza and like a tub of Ben and Jerry's, and I'll just fill that bucket and just leave it back there for him.
He's like, "Is there another bucket? Is there another bucket?"
Just keeps on flowing. I'd have to do it next to the toilet so I could finish it off.
Oh god.
That to me is called karma, right? Your neighbour's been a dick to you for months.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything malicious or like any. It's just
we've known a lot of people have problems with their neighbours on this podcast, and I think some people will just deserve it, man. Like, if we look back on the guy that had his cameras getting moved and stuff like that and destroyed by the neighbours next door because they were paranoid about being filmed. they deserve everything that comes their way. You destroy property and stuff, then a bit of dog shit in your garden's not going to hurt.
No, I would love to do something like that. Like I've been quite lucky with neighbours and things like that. But that's
I
one of those things where like when you leave, you always go on my last day of work. I'm going to take a shit somewhere. I'm just going to fucking just leave one on the floor or something.
I when we got this email, I was like, how long would it take for Rocco to fill a bucket? Yeah. And I think I would be living here for the next 6 years.
But we got which kind of bucket though? You've got like a kid's sandcastle bucket you take to like the beach.
I think
Or you've got like a workman's bucket.
Do you know, I'd get impatient. I'd end up going to like I'd put on the fucking Facebook as like a weirdo, going around collecting like the waste buckets from the waste bins from the fucking local parks.
I would go on Facebook and I'd be like trying to organically grow some crops in my garden. Need fertilizer. Any dogs? Any
I'm trying to blind
dog
the
owners.
local children in the area. Because it's supposed to have something that makes kids blind in it, isn't it?
Oh, what if they're trying to eat it?
Yeah, I think that and cat poo or something. Apparently,
I thought it was the cat tongues. Like if they licked your eyes, like that's quite dangerous or something.
That's because of the prickliness of it. But both of the dog and cat waste, there's something in it that can turn like young kids blind, which is, I don't know whether that's just a thing your mum told you back in the day because they were trying to make sure you weren't putting your hand in it, but I was fucking scared of it when I was in the parks.
No. Yeah, no, I don't think you're a petty person. I think most people listening to this will probably say good on you.
Sometimes you get small wins in life, and like if you've got someone being an absolute dick to you for a certain amount of time, doing something like that non-directly doesn't actually cause anyone any physical harm. It's just a harmless prank that isn't going to like cost anyone any money or anything.
No.
Like, what's the worst going to happen?
All.
They're going to move a fence panel to find out what the fuck the cement is.
Yeah. I was like, one of my favorite pranks I've never done that I always wish is when people put like a fish on the on your engine of your car. I would love to do that to someone because it melts through into like the car and then it comes through like the heating system and you never get rid of the smell, so they can't sell it or anything like that.
To it.
Yeah, but it doesn't wreck the car or anything like that. It's just a bad smell. So it's like it's a massive dick thing to do, but no one's paying for it. Well, he will when he tries to sell it.
I was on one of the early episodes of The Wolf and Owl with Ramesh Ranganathan. Ramesh Ranganathan was talking about he went to his favourite because he has a place out in Portugal. He went to his favourite seafood restaurant with his three boys and his wife. And his oldest boy said, who at the time was probably about 10, he said he wanted sole. Do you know, like the fish?
Yeah.
A whole sole, yeah. And he decided when it came out on the plate and it still had its head on and stuff, that he didn't want to eat it. And Ramesh Ranganathan's a vegan, so he wasn't going to eat it. So he just kept telling his son to eat it. Ramesh got up to go to the toilet, come back, and the whole fish is gone. And they didn't know where it had gone yet. And you know, you like in restaurants abroad and stuff, they have like the little cheap covers. So the uncomfortable chair isn't that uncomfortable. It's got like a little cushion on it.
Oh, yeah.
He put the fish underneath the cover and sat on it for the rest of the meal. And by the end of the meal, the fucking fish was stinking underneath him because from the heat. And he was like, that's my favourite restaurant in fucking Portugal and I can't go back because when they find a fish underneath his seat, they'll just be like, this bloody bastard.
Fuck's sake. That reminds me of do you ever watch Mr. Bean back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an episode where he goes to a fancy restaurant, they give him pate and he doesn't like it, and he ends up like putting it in like the plant pot and then he's like putting it in someone else's like handbag. just to try and get rid of it all to make sure it looks like he's eating it.
Have you ever seen his Oscar acceptance
No, I haven't. No,
as Mr. Bean?
no, I haven't. No.
Mate, it's fucking hilarious. There's they do one of Joaquin Phoenix like crying and shit. Like just before, they're like, "This is how most people do it." It's like turned into a TikTok. There's like, "This is how most actors do it," and like he's crying and he's accepting the award, and he's like, he can't get over himself explaining. Rowan Atkinson walks up as Mr. Bean in character, just snatches it out of the guy's hand, and then walks back off and just goes and sits down. No speech or nothing.
That's English humour for you.
Yeah, I bet people were like, "What the fuck?"
Oh yeah. If they didn't know Mr. Bean, but yeah, no, fucking good on you. I hope it stays there for a good long fucking time and it goes like white. That always freaks me out, like white dog poo.
Do you know that actually came up on? Do you know Tell 'em Steve Dave that we've had quite a few of the guys come up on?
Yeah.
Walt, one of the main hosts the other day, on one of their episodes a couple of weeks ago, they actually called it white dog poo or something because there was like he said no one's seen white dog poo since the 80s because it's always cleaned up now.
I was going to say,
like,
I can't remember the last time I saw a white dog poo.
Yeah, exactly. I remember as a kid there were loads all the time.
There was
Because no one
in
cleaned up
Luton
their dog poo back then.
you know, I'm trying to explain where it is. You know the park near the fire station in Stopsley? And you know the entrance that's at the bottom that goes down to, I don't even know the road it is. But that, we used to call that dog shit alley. Because it was just used to be, it was like the fucking path on the way to the fucking park where the dogs go. But all the dogs shit up that alleyway and everyone just left it there.
Yeah, because a lot of the dogs just, as soon as they're nearby, Rocco does it to me. Every time I'm near the park, he's like, "Nah, bruv, I'm going on the path right here." I'm like, "Mate, come on."
I always fucking laugh because obviously my brothers don't take the dog out unless my parents are away. So like mum will come home from the work, she'll have to walk the dog. Sometimes I go with her and you can see that Chewy's about to fucking drop because his arsehole starts puckering. And I'm like, "Well, mum, it's coming. It's coming." I was like, "He's puckering." You see him like trying to like get to the fucking, he has a spot down the bottom, a grass spot that he always goes. That's like his toilet.
Area.
Yeah. And when he gets closer, he just starts fucking, you can see it fucking going. You're like, "Oh, quick, run."
See, Rocco does this weird thing where he just completely stops dead still, won't move.
Oh, I'm
like, "What are you doing?" And I pull him, and he's not moving. And sometimes we're in the wrong area. Like, there's fucking school kids about. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I'm like, "Rocco, not here, bruv. We're not doing it here." And I keep pulling him, and he's just like limping along behind me, just getting dragged. And I fully dragged him meters to a fucking bit of green for him to poo on.
I've done that before. You get out of the car and like you're walking, you're like, I've got to go, and then you stop and you're like, if I walk one more step,
yeah, it's going.
Yeah,
it's coming.
So you got to wait for the moment to pass, and you're like, right, I can walk again. Yeah, poor Rock.
Another thing, because we're talking about neighbours. Have you ever? This is something that I saw in a meme earlier on today. They say no one's ever seen their neighbour bringing in their shopping.
No, my neighbours see me a few times bring my shopping in because I don't like to make eye contact.
Have you ever seen your neighbour bring in their shopping?
Not off the top of my head, no, but they've seen me.
Yeah, but what the meme was is that we're in a simulation, so they can see us, but we can't see them ever bringing in shopping. What are they bringing in their house, Dan? Nothing. Because when they go in the house, they disappear.
For fuck's sake. Doesn't make any sense because I've seen you bring in shopping.
Yeah, but who's to say I'm not the other part of your simulation, Dan? It could just be me and you.
Yeah, just me and you in the entire world.
Yeah. Pandas don't even exist.
Oh, mate, if they were just there to torture me, I'll tell you right, fucking kicking off. But yeah, hopefully the neighbour gets a little burn from that. He's not going to change of being a dickhead, but at least he's got a little bit of comeuppance.
It might make him think twice about being an asshole to whoever buys your house.
No, I don't think it would.
Well, you'd like to hope.
Well, yeah, but we don't live in dreamland, Jamie.
Yeah, as
I
we
would have
learned,
left
Dan is
the
very
new
much a
people
pessimist.
to leave the new people a little letter and just be like, "Thank you for buying the house. Sorry, you're now stuck with him. Good luck."
I would like leave something really cryptic, like I've seen him bury bodies in the garden.
Like the
Um,
what's that film with Tom Hanks where he thinks the neighbours are killing people?
Tom Hanks. Oh, I don't know.
Have you not? Oh, it's a fucking quality film.
I saw the one Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that was like a like knockoffy remake sort of movie. Oh, people are gonna be so angry that I can't remember the name of this movie. It's
I'm
like
just
on
gonna
the
go
tip
for
of
a
my
quick wee.
tongue. The Burbs.
But I have heard of that film.
Yeah, I'll add that to the movie club.
Do you know? We talked about dogs being shapeshifters.
Yeah.
I was in the toilet. I turned around. I turned around. Rocco didn't make a sound. Normally, I hear his little jingle with his little collar. Not a sound. He's standing behind me.
There is a after you talk because obviously we share a TikTok for the podcast, and I could tell that you've been looking up when you did the conspiracy theory about it. And
Ah,
there was a couple of them that made my skin crawl.
quite creepy. There's one where a dog
Yeah,
closes the door. Have you seen that
that's the
one?
one. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
creepy,
the
man.
hairs on the back of my neck fucking stood up with that one.
Because it feels like you actually caught something on camera there.
Yeah, and he's like shit and closes the door. Yeah, some of them are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. Hi. I'm working with a guy who clearly has an issue with me. I'm not sure what I've done, and when I ask him, he says he doesn't have an issue, but he deliberately excludes me and is always making remarks about things I say in meetings, etc. Other than run into HR, what can I do? Have you guys dealt with characters like this before? I am that character.
um, I don't know. It's a hard one because like I am very moody at times at work, and it's not necessarily anyone around me their fault, but it's the fact that I've woken up early, don't want to be there. I'm
Hmm.
not doing, say, because I work a lot of weekends. People that I know are doing stuff at the weekends. I'm annoyed that I'm at work, etc., etc. So it could just be his home life. I wouldn't like. It might even be as deep as that. Like he's not thinking about you at all. He's just a misery. But if he's leaving you out or stuff, then I would just try and for me, I would overplay being nice to him, like kill him with kindness almost. And when he's setting up stuff like work, drinks, or whatever, you just make sure you set up one yourself and do one yourself at another time, etc. And just almost create another clique. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I don't see like I understand that when you go to work you don't want to be in an environment where you feel uncomfortable, right?
Hmm.
But everyone's there and being paid to be there to do the job. And like, not I'm not being horrible or anything, but what does it matter?
I think some people just like to be liked, innit?
Yeah. Whereas, see, I'm the opposite. See, I go through routine, right? And this is why I said I'm this guy in this email because when I start somewhere new, and this is probably something to do with autism or ADHD. When I start somewhere new, I'm friendly, so I'll talk to people, I'll meet new people, and I've got a specific time frame. I couldn't tell you when it is, but my brain does. That for that, say let's say a month. For that month, everyone that I'm nice to is the only people I'm going to be nice to. So anyone that now starts after that month is new, and I don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who you are. What to me, you're a new guy, and I ain't got time for you. There's no benefit for me talking to you, and that sounds really rude, but I've talked to the people that have been there long enough to help me out with things, and because you're new, you now know less than me do, so you're irrelevant. So like all these people they bring into work, they're all like saying hi to me, and I'm like just looking at them, like, what do you want? But then if they get put with me to work, then I'll talk to them, and well, I won't talk to them, but I'll be relatively nice. And then
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
then when they leave again, they now don't exist. So I'm like a massive mind fuck because it's like I could be really nice one day, and then the next day they come in, they're like, "Oh, morning, Dad," and I'm like, "What?" Like I've never worked with them before ever.
yeah. And I think there is a lot of guys like that,
Yeah,
especially like in places I've worked. I think there is a lot of guys that are not even willing to fucking train you, let alone
no,
fucking give you the time of day. I don't know. I go through, as you said, I go through little cycles myself where I have to pull myself out of cycle a certain thing that I do, because I do this thing where I'll come into an area or come into a section or come into a new job, and I'll be all guns blazing, wanting to figure everything out about the entire thing. I then get all the knowledge that I think I need to know.
yeah,
Then I become a miserable cunt for
yeah.
a good period of time.
That's what I'm saying. Like you speak to people that benefit you, and then once
mm,
someone else comes in that doesn't have that benefit, you're like, "Why are you speaking to me?"
mm.
That's exactly what you're
But
saying.
then I always say, "Oh, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit." But then I find myself ranting about things that annoy me. That means I do care. Do you know what I mean? But it's I don't know. It's a catch-22. It's hard. I think a lot of people aren't happy in their workplace in general,
No.
and this guy could be one of them. And I think um, I would say I'm pretty happy with the guys I'm working with. The work's not hard. It's long hours and easy work, but there's a lot of problems that come with it,
Mm.
and it's the problems that come with it that I focus on, because being English, you always go negative.
Yes. I've
I
said
think that's just our
before,
natural go-to.
Americans live in the clouds and we live in the dirt.
I think like the English are just natural pessimists, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I to be honest, I wouldn't take it too much to heart. I think there's a lot of different characters you can work with. I've learned that over the years. I used to think that because we worked with predominantly with women in the
Mm.
early years in co-op and stuff, I thought, oh, this is as bitchy as you're going to get. Then I worked with a group of guys for the first time, and they are much worse than women about being
Yeah.
bitchy and talking about each other. So then you kind of get into a situation where you realise everywhere's the same. It's just got different titles on it and different bullshit around it. And when you get to that point, when you think about geezers that are like 30 years more into their careers than we are, and we're already at that realization now. If someone's like in their 50s, he don't give a shit. He does
No.
not give a shit. Do you know what I mean?
No.
He's done. All the old boys in my place talk about retirement every day, because that's all they think about is their retirement package.
Yeah.
Do
That's
you know
what I
what I
mean.
mean?
Like, I wasn't like was saying, what does it matter? That's not me being rude. It's like, why does it matter? Like that person, you said to him, what's his problem? He said he hasn't got one. So yeah, it's just that guy. That's all it is. Like you meet people like that all the time,
Some people
and
have weird prejudice as well. He could just be a dick.
yeah, I'm very much a dick. I admit that.
Mm.
But like, yeah, so it's like being excluded is just a thing because he's like used to the people he's talking to, and you're just overthinking it, thinking like, oh, but he's probably not. He's probably not thinking to himself, oh, I'm gonna set a night out and I'm not going to include this person and this person. He's probably just like, I go out with these people, and that's the people I'm going to invite.
Yeah, you're just not even in his scope yet,
No, at all. So,
or at all.
so he's told you that he hasn't got a problem with you, and he's just going by his normal everyday. Yes, he's probably a bit of a dick as well, but I mean, as long as you're going and doing your work, everyone's just there to get paid.
I think for this guy to actively dislike you as well, he would be having to go home and thinking about you as much as you're going home right now and thinking about him.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you got to think about. Like, you got to think, is he going back to his house or his fucking bedsit or whatever, wherever the fuck he lives, and thinking about how much he dislikes you? I very much doubt it.
No.
So I wouldn't put too much thought. I wouldn't put any more thought into it than you initially do at the time.
Yeah. If you go in and he's then, instead of excluding you, he's picking on you, then I'll go
That's
to
yeah.
HR. That's
Mm.
that's then he's like bullying. He's actively trying to make your life miserable. But
Yeah.
if you went to HR and you were like, I've asked it. If they said to you, have you spoken to him, and you were like you've told us, yes, I spoke to him, and he says he hasn't got a problem, HR won't do anything. There's nothing for them to do. You know what I mean?
No,
They'll
they
report
would
it.
try to do what is it called when mediate? They would try to mediate,
Yeah.
but if the geezer's in full denial that he's been a dick, then he ain't gonna take anything on board.
No.
I always found with arseholes in the past, there's a few people, not many, that I've come across. I tend to get along with most people that I've worked with, but there's been a few people that I've really taken dislikes to, especially when I was in management, and I just thought they're an arsehole from the off. And then what I used to do with them is just kill them with kindness. It's so hard to hate someone that is so nice to you, and that's what I would do. And it would wind. I could see it was winding them up, and I'd be like, "How are you this morning? How are you getting on?" And all this stuff, like really chirpy, which is complete opposite of me. Complete opposite of me. And I would be like, "Hello" to everyone, like normal. And then when that person that I know don't like me come in, I'd be like, "All right, mate, how are you doing? Do you want a cigarette? We'll go outside." And eventually, either won them over or they lost their shit with me.
I fucking hate that kind of shit. Like every morning, there's this guy, and I know he wants my job. He covers my job when I'm. He's always fucking staring at me. It pisses me off. Nothing to do with him, just my own insecurities. But
Mm.
every morning, he's always like coming in late and just strutting in like he's a fucking big dog. But I watch him with my eyes. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, here's this fucking cunt again. You fucking prick. I hope you fucking fall over and fucking hurt yourself. And then he's like, morning, Dan. And I'm like, morning, man. Fucking prick.
And he's probably completely
Oh, yeah. He
unaware
has
of
no
what your
idea. Yeah.
situation is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely no idea. But yeah, so I agree with Jamie. Like, this guy's going home and he's not giving you a second thoughts, and neither should you. So, like I said, if he's actively going out his way to piss you off, then he's got a problem. You should go to HR. But just try and, you know what I mean? Find that I'm sure there's other people there that you can make friends with. This guy's not like the end of all.
It is hard when you go into especially when someone's very clicky, you don't know who to trust. It's difficult. It is
Yeah,
difficult, and
exactly.
I do get that. And I don't underestimate the feeling of being left out, but I just don't think it's and as Dan said, until he's actively picking on you, I don't think you need to deep it too much.
No, no. Just go in and do your job, and then I'm sure there's going to be someone there that you can interact with. And in time, because some people as well, like we
You
have
might
such
need a
a
bit
high
of softening up.
turnover at work.
Mm.
Like some people, I don't even bother unless you've been there for like a month. Like I'm just like, you're going to go anyway. What's the point?
Yeah.
So he may just be like, oh, what's the point? Because you're not going to last. So eventually he might open up because he's like, oh, you're here, you're doing your work. You know what I mean? So you just got
Yeah,
to give people
exactly.
time. But good luck. Let us know if it changes and we're wrong. We always like to hear when we're wrong, even though we don't appreciate it. And thanks for emailing in. So this listener says, "Hey guys, I'm back in Oz now and loving life. I've been plugging your show a lot, so hopefully that shows in the numbers."
Good lad.
So so obviously we all know who this is. He was the listener that came back home and his girlfriend wanted to come with him.
Yeah.
The family wasn't happy.
Yeah. He thought they were being racist, but it was actually because he was English.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah. Sorry we never got to meet up while you were over in the UK. If you ever come back, try and give us a bit more time, and we'll try and plan something a bit better because we're always happy to meet up with listeners. It was just you were in the middle, and me and Jamie were like opposite ends. So it's like,
Yeah, and it was a little bit too close for us to sort something out, wasn't it?
yeah, but hopefully we'll get something sorted. Um, I'm working with a guy from Liverpool, and I know Jamie's hatred for the accent way too well now. He's a lovely bloke. We are good friends, but I tell him on a daily basis that his accent grinds on me. Lucky it goes down as work-life banter. Yeah, the Scousers are they're all right with the banter.
They're good banter, yeah.
Yeah.
Accent shit, but banter's brilliant.
Yeah, that's probably why they got tough skin because they know.
Yeah.
I love my place of work, but the money is so bad I have to look elsewhere. It's a choice of happy work life or more money. Have either of you had this issue before? What do you think I should do?
It's tough. It is
Oh,
tough because ultimately you're there for money.
yeah.
I've never been in that position. I've been in a position where I've been relatively happy and I knew that I could go elsewhere for more money. But it wasn't like I wasn't like really rooted down in that job, if you know what I mean. So it
Hmm.
wasn't too much of a decision for me. But I think if I was like in a position now where I'm at now, earning the money I'm earning now, if I was to be offered more money, I don't think much would be holding me back from doing that. Because at the end of the day, you got to fucking earn more. The more money you earn, the better.
I don't know. I think there's that thing about money makes life easier, but it doesn't necessarily make you happier.
Yeah,
I think if I would nowadays, knowing how fucking miserable I am at the minute, like it would have to be a lot of fucking money for me to be somewhere I don't like. Like I'd much rather if I could survive working somewhere I enjoyed, I'd much rather do that than work somewhere I hated for more money.
yeah. I think that's a good thing for you as well. As like obviously with the stuff that you've been going through with your work and all that. I think that um, leaving and finding somewhere better, even if it's less money, will be better for you
Yeah,
in the long run.
yeah.
Where I don't know, like for me, I don't know. I've never really thought of going for less money. But if I was that like pissed off with the place I am at, I would go. I would take less money. It's like the same desperation that I had when I lost a job, and I'm like thinking I'll just take anything, even if
Mm,
it's like fuck all, just so I'm earning while I can.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I feel as though it's the same principle, really.
I think a lot of people do like are miserable for the money, and I don't think it's worth it. I mean, if you get in a job, what's the minimum time you're going to be there before you leave? Say what, 6 months to a year,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's almost a year being just fucking miserable just because of the money. And you
Mm.
think to myself, what am I getting out of that? Because when you're miserable, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to hang out with people or anything like that. You just go and just work and come home and do fuck all. I just think it's just a waste now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the guy says he's happy where he is now, wasn't it? But
Hmm.
it doesn't necessarily mean he wouldn't be happy where he goes. He doesn't know that yet. But it's a risk he's going to have to take if he wants the money,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I think that's always
How
the
many
risk,
Christmas
isn't it?
films is there about this situation? There must be about 1 million Christmas films where someone's in like a high end job, miserable. They have to be taught like the ways of life and shit,
Yeah, yeah. That they
and
can be happier with less
and be
money and
happy
with
in their
family and
life.
stuff like that.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're very much right. I think.
I know full well that if Sabina wasn't there, like giving me that oomph to like go out and meet people and go to like holidays and things like that, I'd be in a massive. Even with this, I'd be depressed as fuck. Like I'd be struggling to do the podcast stuff. I'd be struggling to.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
obviously she's positive in your life. So you've got Sabina that
yeah.
outweighs your work at the minute.
But the money is keeping me. Well, it's just
It's
about
keeping your
keeping me
lifestyle
survive. Yeah,
ticking.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would if everything was all right and Sabina was like living here, and I'm like, I'm fucking miserable. I've got a job opportunity. I'll be losing like £200 a month, but I'll be much happier. I'd fucking do it.
Yeah.
You
She
know
would
what I mean?
encourage you to as well.
And I think she has a couple times saying like, when this and this happens, we'll find you somewhere else.
Mm.
But it's like, I mean, even if like the podcast got to a point where it was like just enough for me to survive, I'd probably quit and just do the podcast.
Well, yeah, that's the decision a lot of podcasts and YouTubers have to make at one point is you quitting your main job and going into doing it full time, meaning that you're going to earn enough money for it.
Yeah.
And if you do that, that obviously means you put more hours into the podcast, which then obviously equates to more money. So it kind of, you have to take that risk.
Mm.
And
I'd quite
I do
happily
worry
fucking do
about the
it.
day that it's going to happen to us.
I can't fucking wait. I'd much rather stress out about when the money's coming in, but get up and chat
Do
and talk
content.
bollocks and shit on pandas than go to my fucking place right now. But yeah, ultimately it's up to you. I mean, I personally would stick with a happy work life
Yeah,
if I had the
I
choice.
think it's work to live, not live to work. So
Yeah. Um, but I mean, but then there's sacrifices, right? Like if you've got like a goal, you want to live somewhere nice, you want a mortgage, you want this and that, then there's a sacrifice that's got to be made. But I mean, you've got your partner now. I think it's a discussion that you two would have because not many people think that way. But if you're miserable at work, you're going to bring that home. Everyone says they won't, but they do.
hmm
And so I don't like ask for help. You know what I mean on the decision. Don't just make it on your own and think you're doing the best because most guys are like, oh, all my partner's going to care about is that I'm bringing in more money when they're not really. They want to be happy. They want a happy home life.
yeah, of course. If you're earning a bomb but you're an absolute cunt, then they're not going to love it. They're not going to be loving it. Do you know what I mean?
But then you see a lot of them are like, oh well, she's happy because she's got a nice car, and you. But when you speak to them and ask them, they're like, I don't give a fuck about the car.
No, and I think that this Instagram world we live in as well, you think people are a lot better off than they are,
Yeah,
and we've seen it time and time again where relationships and that are completely fabricated almost through Instagram and
yeah,
people's lives. Like they look like with the car. People, I've got people on my Instagram with real flashy cars and stuff. And when I speak to them in real life, they rented it for 2 days.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so like I said, we appreciate you emailing in. We're always happy to hear from you, man. But talk to your partner and make that decision together. Um, but I mean, if you're happy and you're surviving, man, just be happy.
yeah,
I mean, more money, more problems, Jamie. But always email in. We'd love to hear from you. And like I said, if you come back to the UK, give us a bit more notice, and we'll see if we can sort something out.
yeah, for sure. I think that'd be good, man.
Yeah. Um. oh, right. Another brilliant episode. You guys are on fire recently. I'm loving the content. He hasn't heard about the pandas yet. I've been going through a hard time this past month. I've decided to come off alcohol today. Totally, sorry. I've been letting it take over my life. I end up having a few drinks, leads to get in a bag, then I'm out the entire weekend. My other half was always very supportive, and she has now lost trust in me because of it. I don't think I have a problem, but I think I have a binging issue with everything I do. Have you got any suggestions for coping methods or what to do going forward? I know Jamie gave up on smoking at the start of the podcast. How's he doing with that? What steps did he take? Thanks, guys. I have a limit. like I can have 2 drinks and stop, and I'm fine. But if I
Yeah.
have a third one, like that's it. I'm having a fourth one, and a fifth one. You know what I mean?
I think my family have a trait. My family have a trait of um, I could do the same. I would have one or two, and I'd be fine. I'd be have a pint, drive home, or whatever, or I'd go out for a couple of pints and get home, and I'd be totally fine. Or the family trait kicks in, we get the taste for it, and we all end up on mad ones. And every single family party is the exact same. You go crazy.
Yeah,
The worrying thing. Congratulations to this listener, by the way, for realizing they've got not an issue, but they're realizing there's a problem coming in the future.
mm.
And I don't think it's a bad thing ever to get off the bag, as people like to call it. I think that's a good thing to acknowledge that you're doing. It's an expensive habit,
Yeah,
and I don't know how people do it because you're paying like £100 for a night out just on the fucking cocaine. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I think you've done well by acknowledging it. Um, Binge issues. I've got binge issues with food. I can binge alcohol quite easily on nights out. So I do get entirely where you're coming from with food, especially. Um, Cigarettes, I've still not been smoking at all. Like I've had. I'm not going to lie to the listeners. I've had like a couple of vapes, a couple of cigarettes here and there when I'm drunk, like super drunk on a night out or whatever. But it's never become a point where I'm buying packs of cigarettes or buying vapes and shit.
I
It's
can't
always just
wait
been,
to come down and not have to stand in the garden with you.
well, you don't know. It depends how drunk we get, Dan. Depends how drunk we get, but I don't think it will
No,
happen.
because when we get to a certain point, I don't get up anyway. So,
Yeah, that's true.
I remember you going like, "Dan, come out with a cigarette," and I'm just like, "No." And you're like, "Dan, come on, man, I want a cigarette." And I'm like, "Then leave the door open." And you're like, "But it's cold." I'm like, "Well, then you're going to be fucking cold then, Jamie, ain't you?" No, yeah, I agree. Like, once if you know you've got a problem and you're just like, I'm going to give it a rest, then that shows a lot of willpower. So respect to
Yeah,
that. There's a guy at work who's like a massive Rangers fan, and I was talking to him, and he has the same thing. Like, he just has to have like a taste of it, like a sip, and that's him. He's in the fucking rabbit hole. So he's actually giving it a break, and he was like, after a couple of weeks of not drinking and going to like the football matches and that, he's like, I enjoy it a lot more because I can remember it. I don't feel like shit the next day. He's like, so I much prefer not having the drink.
yeah.
But I think the fact that you understand that it's happening, I don't think you should cut it out forever. Or there's no problem with like having like a going out once a month or like going to like a birthday party and enjoying yourself.
Mm. The
There's a
occasional
clear
blowout.
difference. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, if you've got a binge issue, I think probably having one is not like if you go out for a meal and you're like, I'm just gonna have one for my meal. No, one
There's no
needs
point.
to no one needs
I
to many
like.
more.
I got to a point where with this podcast, we were having a few drinks every time we recorded, and sometimes we were recording like 2, 3 times a week, and then I was going out at the weekend, so I was drinking like 4 times in the week. So then I obviously once it was made apparent to me by my wife, as always. I was like, "Fuck, right, okay." So I calmed it down, and very rarely do I drink on the podcast anymore.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah,
More for like money reasons, but I'm
yeah.
just
Oh
like,
well,
yeah,
I like there'll be the odd episode where I decide I'm going to have a drink, but there'll be fewer and far between.
I do miss it though. I was at work the other day. A lot of this episode, I say I was thinking at work, and we went. So I went to the hockey at the weekend,
Yeah,
and Sabina is now on my car insurance because she can drive. And we got there, and I was like, "Who's driving tonight?" Just looking at her, and she was like, "I could drive if you want." And I was like, "Okay." Fucking 3 ciders down, and I was standing at work thinking about it, and like I'm not an addictive person. I have issues with food, but that's not an addiction. That's many other reasons.
Mm.
And but I was standing at work, and for the first time, I was thinking to myself, like, I was like, those ciders were fucking good. And for a second, I thought to myself, if I ever had a lot of money or won the lottery, I would absolutely be an alcoholic. No doubt about,
I
no
think
doubt
it's,
about it.
that's why a lot of people, like when celebrities and that get famous, a lot of like sports stars, when they finish their like the athlete career and they've got all that money, they end up like drunks and stuff because they don't know what to do. They don't want to do. They don't know what to do with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would quite happily just fucking
Drink
so
yourself
easy.
into the ground.
When I was in Prague, everywhere we went, Sabina's like, "Oh, do you want some ciders?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll grab a couple to take to wherever we're going." And I didn't overdo it. Like I'd have like one a night or whatever.
Mm.
But cider's the worst well because it's so sweet. And
Yeah,
if
it
you get
almost
one
doesn't
that,
feel like you're drinking, innit?
yeah, if you get one that tastes good and it doesn't taste like alcohol, mate, it's dangerous as fuck. Yeah, so because it's not an addiction and like you said, it's more like a binge issue. I think the only way to tackle with it is just to cut it out. If you're
Mm.
not going out for a night out, you're going for a meal. Don't even do the I'm just gonna have one. Just don't have one. Don't keep
Yeah,
it in the house and just leave the alcohol for occasions and just do it that way. I mean, that's how you deal with binging is just don't have the temptation around.
yeah.
Um, but we always hear if you like we said to people before, if you ever feel like you're slipping or you have a rough night or anything like that, we're always here. Send an email in and we'll help you out. The listeners and us are behind you, and we know you can do it.
It doesn't always need to reach the podcast level as well. We could easily speak to you offline.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's why we always tell people to follow us on our socials. We're always there if you ever want to drop a message or anything like that, and we'll get back to you. Right. Good afternoon to you guys. As Christmas creeps even closer, I'm trying to make a decision this year on whether to go to the in-laws or carry on going to my parents as I've done every year. Me and my partner have been together for around 10 years, but always spent Christmas apart, mostly due to the time she spends in the ambulance service. This year she is off from work and looking forward to spending time with her family and me at Christmas, almost assuming that's what I want to do. I'm not sure how to delve into the conversation that I'm just feeling strange about leaving my parents alone at Christmas. Any suggestions on how to handle a slightly awkward situation from a slightly awkward human being? P.S. Both parents live 9 hours away from each other, so it won't be able to spend time with both. Thanks.
Um, I think with this one, it's there's a few options you could have. Like you could first of all 10 years being with someone and not having to share a Christmas with them.
Lucky you.
Yeah, exactly. You've got away with a lot. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of privileges been happening there. So, there obviously her job's an important job, and she's been doing that the whole time. So yeah, I think what you need to do. I said this to Dan when we received the email.
I think it was a fucking. I didn't even think of it either, so it was a fucking belter.
Yeah, I think you need to invite all your parents to you
Mm.
because it's going to be. Say this is the only year in a few years that your partner is going to be able to fucking celebrate Christmas with the family. I would say do it. Have everyone to your house. Host. It might be slightly stressful for you, but you're still seeing your parents. You're seeing her parents. Everyone's happy. I feel.
Yeah, and like your partner, if it's the first Christmas in a long time, isn't going to travel 9 hours.
No, either way. Yeah, yeah.
No, 9 hours there, 9 hours back to then go back to work the next day. So I mean, obviously this depends on your living situation and stuff like that. But I think there's no downside to this apart from like the stressful of making dinner and that. But it's the best of both worlds.
I think you're pleasing both parents if they want, if they're willing to do it. Obviously, you're pleasing both parents and you're pleasing your partner who hasn't had a real Christmas in 10 years. I think, I know this is going to sound bad from me to the listener, but I think your partner's more important in this situation than you are at this point because they haven't had the Christmases. They've been
Yeah,
working. Um, First responders and that, you don't really think of at Christmas unless it's actually forced upon you.
mm.
Um, so for her not to have the last 10 years with you, I think sacrifices need to be made. If parents aren't willing, if one of the parents aren't willing to come down or something, then that's the decision you're going to have to make. But I think try
Yeah.
to get everyone together.
Solves it itself, doesn't it? If one family is like either way,
Mm,
if one of them comes to you, that's still better than you travelling to them, so that's still a win. But
yeah,
yeah, no, Jamie's right, and I think as well because you said, "Oh, you're an awkward human being," which made me laugh. I think that's why it feels so
big.
so strange
Mm.
because you're used to her working, and then you go into your parents where it's like, "Oh, this year it's going to be different," and change is strange, even
People
when
get into
it's
routines. When me and
yeah,
Charlotte first were doing Christmases, we were living in the flat like 3-4 years before we actually started doing Christmases together
yeah,
because we didn't. Neither of us wanted to give up our Christmas day with our parents. So I think we interchange every year now, but obviously this couple doesn't have that option because of her being a first responder. So I think make the most of it. I think it's a good time to spend with family. I know a lot of people say they argue and stuff and all this stuff, but I think Christmas every year has been good for me, and whether I've been lucky that way or not, I
yeah.
just
See,
think make
when
the most of it.
I was saying to Sabina, because I was like, when we were over there, and obviously I'm quite impulsive in general, and we were over seeing our family, and I was like, oh, maybe we can alternate between being in Prague and being at home with mine. And
Okay.
Spina's like, oh, are you okay with leaving your mum at Christmas? And then obviously the impulsive part of me took over, and she could see it in my face, and I was like, oh yeah, no, not really. But luckily for me, me and Sabina are quite what's the word? Like compromise with each other.
Mm,
So she was like, because obviously my mum's invited her this year over to ours for Christmas.
mm.
So I was like, I'm quite happy to do like if I can get the time off to do like the week before Christmas to come over to see your family, and then still have Christmas Day with my family with her obviously there as well. So we're still basically spending time with both. It's just a bit more traveling. But
Is because I know the Polish Christmas Day is 24th.
yeah, it's the
Is the
day
check,
before Christmas. Yeah.
so you could that could possibly help you out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I understand completely because honestly the thought of not spending time with I don't care about everyone else, but my mum. Like, I'm sorry to my brothers and my stepdad, but yeah, it was my mum that was sort of like, no,
Yeah, I think once you've done it the first year, because I was very much the same. Once you've done it the first year, and you kind of figure out like a rhythm,
mm,
like it now, if anything impedes that rhythm, I get a little bit fucking weird about it. Like one year, Charlotte's parents went to Australia the year we were supposed to go to them,
yeah,
and we ended up going to Miller and Carter with Charlotte's brother instead. But it just didn't feel the same because
yeah,
obviously it was like just the kids have gone rogue. Basically, that's what it
yeah.
felt like.
Oh yeah, yeah. I absolutely understand. Yeah, that's that one thing, right? Like when you're growing up, Christmas is that one thing that every year is exactly the same.
Yeah, and people get very much into routines around it.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm the same. Like especially during COVID, because at first they were like, "Oh, you could go home for Christmas," and then they're like, "No, you have to stay home." And I was like, "You can fuck off. You can barricade my journey to my fucking mum's, but I'm going to my fucking mum's. I don't give a fuck."
See, I was always always a bugbear with me because my it wasn't me and Charlotte, it was my mum. My mum got scaremongered by the fucking news and was like, she doesn't want us driving over there just in case we get stopped.
No.
And it was like we listened to my mum, and we had a brilliant day. Don't get me wrong, but still, to this day, I hate the British government because of it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, James, I haven't. This was a tough one for me because I was like, oh, how would you solve that? And Jamie's, I think, is the middle ground. You know what I mean? And like I said, if one family can't make it, then you know where you're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If one,
I think
oh
that
no, I
solves
can't
it.
do that. Yeah. So but have that conversation. And Jamie's right. Like, if it's been 10 years and this is the first chance that she's had at Christmas, then you've got to sort of suck it up and take the hit and just be like, because what's one Christmas? They're not gonna. Next year you can go back to your normal routine, but you know you want to make it good for her.
Yeah, and I think like this is going to sound pretty petty, but all them years in retail, I feel a lot more towards Christmas now because we had to work the entire fucking Christmas
Mm.
in retail. Like I was going in and doing fucking accepting deliveries on Christmas Day before,
Yeah,
and um, now I just think more of it. Where I think a lot of people don't when they've always just had the whole Christmas period off.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You learn to appreciate that one day a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let us know how it goes. Hopefully you're still listening over Christmas, although I know our numbers drop a little bit over Christmas because no one's listening. But hopefully you have a good time and say thank you for your missus for all those years of working at Christmas, and we hope she enjoys it. Right. Hey, I have been listening for a while now, and I love the chemistry with you two guys. You're both not afraid to disagree with each other, as well as let each other convince one another that you're right at the same time. I think I'm right most of the time, but it's okay. My question is,
I will never accept that, Dad.
I'm older, Jamie. I'm always right.
Oh,
I've lived
okay, we're not
a
putting that
fuller.
card. We're not playing that card. This guy was talking about fucking panda genocide for 20 minutes at the
I
beginning of
tell
the
you right
episode.
now, if you don't watch that video and you think yourself, yeah, these things want to kill themselves, I tell you, you ain't my friend. My question is, work is really bringing me down at the moment, but I've spent 23 years in this place and I'm feeling underappreciated and just like part of the furniture, to be honest. I hoped it was a phase and it doesn't seem to be changing. I'm worried about changing jobs and possibly being aged out of interviews as I've been in one place for so long. Do you have any suggestions of what I can do to make my life better? And as you have said before, to get my work life balance in check.
I think there's nothing you can do to prepare yourself for it. I think just go for interviews. I think if you think you're going to be aged out, there's only one way to find out.
I
I
think
think
aged out is a
try.
bit. I think unless you're like 5 years from retirement, 30 odd years in the same job is just experience.
Yeah, it would show, for me, that would show commitment.
Yeah. And like I said, yeah, because most companies want a good sort of certain amount of years out of you. If you're close to retirement, they're going to be like, no, not really. But I mean, experience is experience. You can't, there's nothing against that.
But even if you're in your 50s, I would say early 50s you still get away with. Especially in the UK, you'll work until you're 65 or
Probably by the time
62.
we're old, it'll be later than that. I'll be probably working till I'm 70. But I think as well,
I'll
like,
be figuring out a way to get out of work.
like, what's making you feel like a piece of the furniture? Like, what is it that you're? Because you might go to another job and it'll be fresh and that for a little bit, but if you're doing the same career, maybe it's
Mm.
best you go to your. I mean, you've been there for a long time; they know you, and just say to them, say, you know, oh, I've been here for a long time. I'm feeling a bit stagnant. And if you know what's making you feel that way, you can say, oh, is there any way I can do this? Is there any way I can be involved in this or do this? Or can I change up my routine? And like they'll work with you if you've been there that long. They're not going to want to get rid of you.
Yeah, possibly. I think that's a good point. Actually, I think putting yourself forward within the workplace that you're in now for a bit of a change might be something that might refresh it for you a little bit. I think he probably feels stagnant in a way. Like I know what it's like. Like you were in co-op for a long time. I was in co-op for a long time. That's probably my longest period in one place.
Mm.
Um, you go through a lot of regime changes. Even in the 8 years I was there, there was a lot of regime changes. So in 23 years somewhere, there would be a lot of regime changes, and you're the constant. So
Yeah.
you would feel like they're just rebuilding around you all the time.
Hmm.
So I can understand that sentiment, but at the same time, the grass isn't always greener
No.
elsewhere, like you said. So it's kind of one of them situations where, like, I keep nagging my dad because my dad's been working in a place since before I was born. I think he's been working in the same place since like 33 years, 34 years in one place.
Hmm.
Um, he was the team leader. He stepped down, etc., etc. He's not enjoying his work-life balance. He's not enjoying doing shift work anymore, etc., etc., because of the life stage he's at. Um, he, I say to him, because obviously as he's getting older, his knees hurt. He's got a problem with his hand from vibrating tools and stuff like that. I said to him, go up and ask to do like more of an office-based job,
Mm.
or do something like quality-based where you're checking the quality rather than doing anything hands-on or whatever.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't seem to do it because he obviously wants to stay within the comfort zone of the type of work that he's been working on up into that point. Where
Yeah.
I think maybe a complete change would benefit him, benefit the work. Like same with our listener, maybe a complete change from, say, if you're working hand on now, going into more of the quality side or the engineering side or whatever is around you. Doesn't need you're in the same place but a different sector. I think that might help you.
Yeah. I think that's as well. Like when you've been for somewhere so long, and he says he feels underappreciated,
Hmm.
they might not intentionally making you feel that way. It's the fact that they know that you're capable of the job, so they don't feel the need to nag you.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just letting you get on with it because they know you can do it, and that's
Yeah.
what makes you feel like, oh, well, why aren't they asking me for this, asking me for that? It's like, well, they trust you. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's like the same principle where I was kicking off a few weeks ago when before problems were kicking up, before problems had arisen in the last year or so, we never saw hair nor sight of certain management.
Hmm.
Now, because problems are around, we don't not see them. They're all the time up in our grill.
Yeah,
So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I think sometimes when they're leaving you to your own devices, that is probably what's happening. They trust you to just get on with it.
yeah. The same reason why we say about why some people don't get promoted, because it's so much easier to have someone that knows what they're doing and just leaving them there
Mm.
than to promote them and have them to find someone else to do their job someone that can't do it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same process as that. But yeah, I think change is very fucking scary, especially when you've been doing the same thing for so long. And that thought of like, you're like, oh, I don't like where I am. But the thought of going to speak to your manager and then possibly giving you something different after 33 years, and you're like, holy shit, is this actually what I want?
yeah,
But that's better than you getting the courage to find another job, getting it, going to this place, and you're like, you're new then. You've got no standing with anyone. You've got no reputation. Like, you're completely fucking spanking new, and you're expected to know what you're doing because you've been doing it for 33 years. So they're going to expect a lot more from you, which is a lot worse than what you're doing now.
yeah. Straight off the bat, and there's going to be different procedures in place with different companies, etc.
Yeah. So it is definitely a tough decision. I think for me, what I would do is speak to the people I'm with now, especially because it's a long time. And if you've been there that long, then the company can't be bad. Otherwise, you wouldn't have put up with it.
Yeah, they might even try their utmost to keep you if you're
Yeah.
that valuable.
Especially because it's nothing to do with money.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more to do with that you're just bored.
Hmm.
You know what I mean, there's always job opportunities, especially for people that want to stick around.
But as we said, like if it's your happiness that it's coming down to, as we said in the earlier question with the other guy when it was money or happiness, if you think it's affecting you that much, then do what's best for you. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we're all numbers in the system. Unless you work for a mum and pop, we're
Yeah.
always going to just be numbers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So if a change is what you need, then make the change. It's a challenge at any age is not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah, I mean it's scary, but you know what I mean it's good. Go for it. Right, last email. Morning and hello on this Monday morning. I've been keeping up to date with the show recently, and I've been enjoying the banter. Guys, keep it up. It's a good mix of advice and banter. I have a question to submit to the show if possible. I am a hairy guy. I've been getting my back and chest waxed for years now, and it's become part of my grooming routine. My partner keeps mentioning for me to get the classic back sack and crack done. She thinks because she gets her areas waxed that I shouldn't have an issue with it. What do you guys think? Am I being a coward and a weirdo because I don't want to get my junk out at a stranger? Would you get it done, or have you done it? Cheers, guys. I don't think it's the getting your junk out that's the problem. It's the fact that someone's putting hot fucking wax in your ball bag is my problem.
I can't imagine the pain. I
Yeah,
cannot imagine the
nah.
pain.
I think I could deal with the hot wax. I'd be like, ooh, that's
I feel
kind
as though
of,
they're
and
just
then
going to rip my ball bag off.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I don't know how women do it. Like all the power to you. I wouldn't grudge anyone. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But nah, nah.
All I was imagining when listening to that email was me walking into a room. I'm not a hairy guy, Dan. I'm not a hairy guy at all, anywhere, really.
Lucky
Um,
you.
I go into a room. There's a woman called Tia, say, or I don't know, Clarissa.
You
Yeah,
love Clarissa the stripper.
yeah, Clarissa. I'm there on her day job, so there. Me and Clarissa are in the room, and she's doing my back. And then I say to her, "If I throw you another 30, we'll do the back sack and crack." Yeah. She was like, "Okay, whip it out." If I whipped out the old boy, I feel as though I would feel inappropriate, man. I feel like that would make me feel inappropriate. First of all, second of all, I don't think that I would be able to go through with it. Like, because I can't imagine what position you'd have to be in to get the whole shebang done.
You would have to
I
be
can
like a
imagine is I would
baby
be on all
position,
fours.
like your legs up in the air, like
Oh,
behind
really?
your
So
head.
I was thinking the other way around. I was thinking all fours.
No, no, because they'd want to do it in like one sweep, right? So you got to be on. This is just me spitballing because I've never because when they do wax, they do it in strips.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's better for you to be on your back with your legs open, like a woman would do with hers, because they would want to go nuts to gooch.
Oh my god, the pain, the pain.
So they would try and do it in like one foul sort of whoop. We're
I want to
stepping
know. I want to
on
know from our listeners if anyone's had this done.
we're stepping on Pornhub territory here now because there's an actual category of like guys that get off with like their nuts waxed.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. I can't. It's almost if you go for like what do you call it? Happy endings. It's in that sort of territory, but it's like guys that are like the woman's like a I don't know if she's well obviously it's fake. There's no way they'd be allowed to record, but the woman's like ripping the fucking because you know they do it in like little patches, don't they? And he's got a fucking rock hard boner, and she's like moving out of the way, like waxing this guy's junk.
So,
Fucking brilliant.
so, so
I don't know if it's to do with the latex gloves because people have like a latex fetish as well, don't they?
could you imagine like being one of them workers like fucking Jeffrey's in there again. He's absolutely rock solid. Can you go in and sort him out? Can you go in and sort him out? And it's like Leah's like, yeah, I'll go in. I'll do it. I'll do it this week. You do it next week though. matey boy only needs a wax once a month, but he's fucking in every week because he's getting fucking wanked off almost.
You just got to ignore it. I'm 75% sure that there's probably some women out there that get aroused from having their parts waxed. The
Really?
pain, yeah. Women like there's certain women that love it, like slapped and stuff like that. Like you ever seen like BTS? Was it BDSM?
BDSM.
They love shit like that. So I can guarantee you that there's some women out there having fucking orgasms while they're getting waxed. And you, as a worker, you've just got to ignore it. Which is why I think it's funny when you see it on Pornhub where the guy's like fucking, and the woman's got the blue gloves on, and she's just doing her job. She's like
Man.
moving this fucking boner out of the way.
Some people need to be fucking lined up and shot, don't they? Like, there's no need for any of it.
I just think it's funny seeing shit like that. But I've never personally done it. I would never do it. It annoys me because I've started getting like hair on that back of my shoulders.
Oh no!
And like on my back, and then like, I know I've got hair on my butt as well, and I don't like it. I can't imagine Sabina likes it, but the only thing I would do would be like hair removal cream. There's no way I would, and even then, you're not allowed to put that near sensitive areas. So, although, do they make hair
There is a
removal
Veet
cream?
People, I know a lot of people
Yeah,
use Veet on their junk.
For their junk. But I couldn't do it. Like I said, power to any woman or man that gets waxed down there. Like I would never call you names for it, but I couldn't do it.
No. I couldn't even get my fucking chest waxed, man. I have about 4 hairs on my chest, yeah. I am like a fucking 13-year-old boy just going into puberty when you look at my chest.
If I had to, I could do it. The chest.
There's no way, man. No way. I'm such a little pussy when it comes to like stingy pains like that. I'd rather someone just cut my arm off. And they just deal with the agony.
Oh, there's a thing that Sabina sent us, so that's going to be out of the question. There's a video. I wonder if I've still got it. It'd be easier just to send it to you. Where did she send it to me? Right, so watch that, and I'll explain to the listeners what you're watching. You got it. So what I just sent him is a game. These 2 Korean guys have got their legs out, and they've put 2 wax strips on each other's leg. And what they're doing is
masks.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know what that's for. But what they're doing is they're doing rock, paper, scissors, and whoever loses has to try and get to the wax strip to rip it off the other person's leg. And Sabina sent that for when I come down, but I was like, I don't think he's going to do it.
I think my reactions would be too slow.
Which means you get but eventually it doesn't matter who wins or loses because both of you got to take the wax strip off your leg.
Yeah, that is true actually.
Yeah, so no one wins or loses in that game. It's just one person gets it done quicker.
These 2 are so slow. Oh my god! Oh, he ripped it right off.
Yeah.
See, I'm like, how does it not bleed, man?
Well, it's just like it's like the hair follicles in it. It's not actually. It does if you're like a 40-year-old virgin when he gets his chest waxed.
Oh man.
But then again, like I said, I've said before, if the reason why I couldn't be gay is because I don't like the hair.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had a partner, and if Sabina, don't even fucking think about this, but if someone was like, I don't like this hair here, I want you to remove it, I completely understand. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be offended by removing it, but wax is probably the last way I would do it. Like,
I think there's loads of other ways you could be doing stuff like that, man. Loads of other ways. Yeah. There's about 3 other options.
Loads of ways. There's about 3. Yeah.
In my eyes, every other option
is better than that one.
I would chop the limb off before waxing it.
But if she convinced you to do it, please email in and let us know how it was. I don't know whether it's the nuts, right? I could deal with the shaft and like my gooch, but it's just the nuts.
No, even the gooch, I think, is very sensitive, man. I can't be dealing with that, man.
It's not, and it's not so much the sensitive as well. It's because the ball bag's like stretchy. So how are they? Do they have to like push the nuts down to get it like firm enough to pull it off? I don't know.
I genuinely think my ball bag will go with it. I think that'll be the end of my days.
Obviously, it doesn't because many people have got it done. But
I'll be the one guy down.
I would bleach my arsehole before I would get it waxed.
I always wondered how they do that, innit? Do they just?
I'm sure it's the same thing, don't they? Just bleach it. But that's painful though, isn't it? Like peroxide. No, they can't use peroxide on your arsehole.
Nah, I can imagine it's just some kind of chemical remedy they put around the edge.
Do you know what annoys me right now is that we're talking about bleaching arseholes, and I bet next week I go on TikTok and someone's talking about bleaching their arsehole.
Oh, Dan, don't get me. Don't get me started on this again. Tell him Steve Dave have a thing saying TSD makes the world takes. I'm starting to believe we've got the same going on. We've got the same going on.
Especially because I sent Jamie a video the other day. I don't know if you guys remember it. You probably blocked it out. But Jamie did a Urban Dictionary thing for like sexual. I don't even know what they were.
Deviants, basically.
Yeah. And what was it called? Iglooing, where someone freezes a shit in a condom to use as a dildo. And I got up one morning and there was a very famous podcast talking about an email they'd received about someone iglooing. And I was like, I'd never fucking heard of that until Jamie. 36 years. Jamie's the first person to have mentioned it to me, and now I'm seeing it on a TikTok.
And theirs was sent in by a listener.
Yeah.
By a listener. So in my eyes, they were sent in by the producers that listen to our fucking podcast. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's the podcast. I'm not blaming the podcast hosts. I'm blaming their producers. I think TikTok is sending them our content, and then producers are recycling it into theirs.
Yeah, keeping us down, just like the bleached ourselves.
You get a shadow banned. Shadow banned.
1 second, I'm curious now. I'm going to do this now before we go there. How do you bleach an arsehole?
Pour bleach into your mouth and then spit it into your arsehole.
Your professional will apply... My professional, like I've got money for that, will apply a cream, gel or chemical peel to your anal area.
Peel.
They might give you a numbing cream if you opt for a laser treatment. Voila. Once they're done, you can get dressed and take your new bleached bumhole out for a spin. That's actually what it says. I didn't make that up. How to bleach whiten my arsehole at home. Oh, this is good. Oh, I'm going to have a look at this.
What it's concerning that they give you numbing cream, isn't
it? Combine equal amounts of the following in a small container. Hydrogen peroxide. They are hydrogen peroxide, your arsehole. Cream of tartar and hand cream. Take your pants off and apply to your anus and cover with a piece of cling film food wrap. Leave a half an hour and repeat daily. It is basically exactly what saloons use and charge you a fortune. Good luck and report back.
Imagine all them people that don't arseholes who put too much on.
I love when people... This is basically... It's how do you say that? It's like Reddit. But I love it. People just like... It's so fucking funny. The skin around your anus is remarkably thin and delicate. It is also not very forgiving. Any castratic substance you apply there may not only immediately pain and injury, it may set off a lifetime of anal discomfort. I would strongly advise against any such practice. If you think your anus needs bleaching, you may benefit from therapy if it is your partner who thinks. So if you want to bleach your arsehole, that's now a medical condition and you should see a therapist.
There you go. 2023, back again.
Anal bleaching can be done at home. However, I would caution everybody from what's that say? Their own home remedies for information gathering on information halfway. I don't know what this person's talking about. For example, one website where they were advising using lemon juice as a whitening agent directly on your anus and other body parts. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't imagine applying lemon juice on my lady parts. I cringe about thinking about it.
At least it would smell fresh.
Could you imagine it's like pancake day you're making your pancakes. You put your sugar on. You're like, hang on a minute, I didn't bleach my arsehole this week. And then you just bend over in the kitchen and start jiggling.
Oh, while you're at it.
While you're in the kitchen, bit for me, bit for you. Eating your pancake. You got lemon juice running down the inside of your leg.
Oh man, that's fucking awful.
Fucking brilliant. All right. Hopefully, like I said, if you get it done, please let us know. Or maybe anal bleaching is an option. Who knows? We've maybe given you another avenue. Don't do it at home, please.
That was
Whatever I just read out
yeah.
there is just for comical effect, and I no way advising anyone to put lemon juice on their arsehole.
No, and
Or
I've
cream
seen
of
people
tartar
get
for
their
that one.
head burnt from hair dye. So do not fucking
Do
put that
not
shit in
put
your ass.
peroxide on your arsehole. Like that to me just screams like bad news.
Yeah, 100%. You're gonna be burning.
Yeah, you'll be burning.
You'll be burning. That's literally the ring of fire.
Yeah. Japanese flag.
Yeah, so that's the episode. Is that the episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh shit. On that note, suicidal pandas with bleached bumholes is the way to go. This has been one random episode from start to finish, and the tangents have been brilliant. And if you haven't been listening to this podcast long, then get used to it because this is what happens. As always, guys, we're never too busy. No matter how small or big your question is, send it into twomennohope@gmail.com. If you've got content ideas, if you've got ideas for the New Year special, the game show special, let us know. Send it into twomennohope@gmail.com. And that's it from me, Dan. Have you got anything else?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah, man. I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
See ya.